I always get the question, can guys and girls be just friends? Never really know how to answer it, but I think they can. If you disagree or agree, please explain.
Before I address the answer to this very provocative question, let's look at that very famous scene from Harry Met Sally.
You realize, of course, that we could never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is, and this is not a come on in any way, shape, or form, is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
That's not true. I have a number of men friends and there is no sex involved.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You only think you do.
You're saying I'm having sex with these men without my knowledge?
No, what I'm saying is they all want to have sex with you.
They do not.
Do too.
They do not.
Do too.
How do you know?
Because no man can be friends with a woman that he finds attractive. He always wants to have sex with her.
So you're saying that a man can be friends with a woman he finds unattractive?
No, you pretty much want to nail them too.
What if they don't want to have sex with you?
Doesn't matter, because the sex thing is already out there, so the friendship is ultimately doomed, and that is the end of the story.
Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then.
Guess not.
First of all, I think people tend to want to have their cake and eat it too with this whole friends with benefits, because the bonding that is created when you're physical with someone is more than just a physical connection. And that's why so often when people break up or they have one-night stands or whatever the case may be, they get very disappointed, very depressed, and very discouraged. And that's because it was more than just a physical encounter. It meant something in the scheme of things, because two flesh become one. You actually bond together. Even if it's a brief thing and it's something that is not based on any kind of emotional relationship, it still is damaging because not only of the disappointment, when you're connecting with somebody else on a physical, metaphysical, spiritual, psychological way, then you have a tendency to open yourself up to a lot of their baggage, and you don't need to be picking up other people's baggage. And so that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, of course, is the trust issue, where that comes in, because there is no greater vulnerable thing that you can do with a person than be intimate with them. And so therefore it has to be something that is well thought out. It has to be under the auspices of trust, and it just can't really be done that way without there being some kind of sense of commitment. Because you can talk all day long, and guys are good at this, about, pretending that there is a commitment there when there's really not any kind of contractual agreement that actually holds the person's feet to the fire in terms of responsibility of what comes out of that relationship, whether it be children, whether it be, a commitment to stick with it and to work it out. And so that's why it's easy to not want to be held accountable through being married, because they use the excuse that, I'll just, we'll just end up getting a divorce anyway, so why get married in the first place? Well, and that's why it's important to emotionally prepare yourself for marriage. Be prayerful about who you intend on marrying, and being able to kind of hold that part of yourself. That can be very detrimental to a marriage when you go into it having had so many connections physically with people, because when you're coming apart, whether it's a one-night stand or relationships or whatever, there's a tearing of the flesh, because you become one flesh just by the physical act. You're conjoining, you're connecting physically. And so we're realizing there's much, much more to it than meets the eye. And really, you can't have your cake and eat it too and not pay a pretty heavy price for being able to just have so-called fun without any kind of obligation in the relationship. I learned very quickly early on that having women as friends can be dangerous to the relationship, whether you're married or not. And a matter of maybe 8 months after I had been married, back when I was young, there was a work gal who we would spend lunch together with other people, and then other people started kind of trailing off, and it ended up being just the two of us. Well, she was, I don't know, about 6 months pregnant or something. My wife and I weren't able to have a child, and so that may have had something to do with me cultivating emotional feelings for her. And then I recognized that, and I told her I am no longer going to be able to exclusively sit down for lunch with her, and how I felt about that. And then what I did to kind of stick a finger in the devil's eye, knowing that that was an attack on my marriage, was that she was having trouble in her marriage. I offered to go over and do some counseling with them and really encourage them in their marriage. Her husband appreciated it, and it was really, I think, produced some fruit, I hope. You see, when we start sharing intimate bondings with other people of the opposite sex that are meant to be for our partner, our spouse, our husband, our wife, then we are robbing them of that exclusiveness, of that part of the relationship that helps build a strong, healthy emotional foundation of knowing that I'm the only person in the world that has a relationship with my partner like this. There's no friends or family or anybody at work or anybody else that I'm sharing the most personal feelings I have. And in a society that's kind of replete with emotionally vomiting on people, becoming very open, much more open than we've ever been before, there needs to be some guidelines, some boundaries for marriages to stay healthy in order for difficulties not to come divide it and undermine it. And that's just the simple truth of the matter.